All right, so now we're about to pitch the yeast. We're actually re-pitching yeast. What does that mean, Sean? It means that we already used the yeast in another batch of beer.
Exactly.
And we basically saved it, and then we're going to use it again in another batch.
Yeah, and when the beer ferments, all the yeast from that beer settles out to the bottom in what's called a yeast slurry. And then once we bottle that beer, we can take that yeast slurry and put it into the next beer, and that's what we're doing here. So I've sanitized this container.
Okay, so this right here, it's not beer yet. It's still just wort.
Yeah, it's just wort.
But this is what we spent all night making, with the mash, mashing out and boiling and everything.
And
that right there is the culmination of tonight's work right now.
Before I pitch the yeast, I'm going to want to aerate my wort real quick. So I'm going to shake this.
All right. So what he's doing is it's called aeration. He's adding oxygen to the wort, and what's going to happen is when we put the yeast into it, it's going to have more oxygen within the liquid. So the yeast is going to be able to take that oxygen, and it's basically going to eat it. And it's going to kind of, the yeast eats the oxygen, and it kind of it kind of poops out alcohol, and it kind of farts carbon dioxide.
Yeah, in the first 24 hours of fermentation, the yeast respire. So they need that oxygen to breathe. They'll soak up that oxygen, and they need oxygen and food to eat, and then poop out. We can't put this line out.
Have we been drinking beer, Sean?
Yeah.
We've been drinking beer. so that's basically why he shook it up, was to increase the oxygen levels in the wort, and he's about to.
So this is our
that right there is our yeast
slurry. I'm gonna go ahead and pitch 1 cup.
It's going straight into the wort.
I'll probably pitch about 3 cups total if I can. 2 cups. All of this is sanitized. The final 2. And we'll go about 3 cups. There we go.
So now our wort has officially become beer.
Yes,
right?
True. Officially,
it is officially now beer. Fermentation has begun.
And I'm going to take my airlock.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, but as of now, that yeast is now combining with those fermentable sugars that we imparted into the wort when we mashed in, right?
Right, yeah.
The very first step that we did, mashing in, is now paying off.
Right, yeah. So the yeast is going to get to work. Like I said, the first step is respiration. So the yeast gets in there, and it's gonna breathe up all that air that I shook into it. And then once it's good and ready, it's going to start eating the sugars. It's going to create 1 part carbon dioxide, 1 part ethyl alcohol. So what we've got here is an airlock. I'm going to put some sanitized water into our airlock. And what that does is it lets that carbon dioxide escape while the beer is fermenting, but it doesn't let any air in, because the air has bacteria and things that we don't want.
All kinds of nasty shit we don't want in our beer.
Exactly, yeah. Things we don't want to go into it. So, we shook it and it aerates, but that's okay. Once it starts fermenting, though, all the nasties are going to start coming out of the airlock, but we don't want anything to go back into it. So.
Right. And so basically, right now we're basically done. That's about 5 gallons right there.
Yeah.
Of beer, and we're gonna wait for at least 1 week for it to ferment.
Yeah.
And it's going to start fermenting here. Well, it's fermenting already, but it's going to start fermenting violently in the next day or two, right, Sean?
Yes. Yep. Probably in the morning. Probably see some activity in the morning.
Yeah. And it's a living process making beer or alcohol, probably. And yeah. Basically, do you have anything else to say, Sean?
I don't know. It looks pretty beautiful.
It does look beautiful. It looks like it's going to be a great beer.
I think so.
So, all right. Well, Sean, Josh Wood, and yeah. Hope you guys learned.